Well, the Africa CEO Forum now enters its second day in Cote d'Ivoire's commercial capital, Abidjan. Industry captains from the continent have been exchanging views on how to navigate tough economic conditions influenced by global headwinds. And telecommunication companies such as Vodacom have been a key player in driving economic growth on the continent. The Pan-African ICT provider is witnessing increased demand for its services, including cloud computing and enterprise mobility. Last week, the company announced a partnership with IBM to open the first industrial-scale cloud data center on the African continent. While Uche Okoronko caught up with Vuyani Jahana, Vodacom Business Chief Officer, and began by asking him about the company's 2016 outlook.
If you look at the big part of Vodacom business, predominantly is still heavily concentrated in South Africa, and we've got presence in Tanzania, DRC, Mozambique, and Lesotho. But South Africa is very material for us. So as we look into the year, we know that the economy of South Africa is facing difficult times. We still remain positive that the underlying growth in the South African market is still there. Of course, as the economy grows slower, then obviously all businesses, we think the consumer will be under pressure, but we remain positive that it's a year that we are going to face with great fortitude.
Now, looking closer at the business, you've been expanding your internet offering as you face, of course, falling revenues when it comes to voice and, of course, facing tougher competition in the market. Now, how will we see the business change going forward? Are we going to see you developing certain sections and reducing your operations in other areas?
So the big part, data and internet is one of the key growth areas for Vodacom overall, largely because the economy is digitizing. People are actually buying services using the internet. If you look at some of the sectors of the economy, for example, music, predominantly music is bought online, and people are adopting more of the internet. So data and internet becomes key. Therefore, our investment in underlying infrastructure and technology is driven by data growth, investing in LTE, 4G infrastructure. So it's a very, very key investment area for us because the underlying growth is driven by data growth predominantly.
Now, South Africa currently is facing, a tough economic climate. How do you plan to navigate that market going forward? And how do you see it, of course, affecting your operations and your bottom line as well?
So the big parts that in South Africa we're focusing on today is around the enterprise business. Right. So B2B services, which I particularly run as a chief officer for enterprise business. That's where we see a potential for growth because enterprises are looking for choice, especially in the fixed services and converged services. Enterprises are looking for innovation. They have to invest in platforms like cloud-based services. They have to expand their data centers to be able to carry the demands of the fast digitizing economy. Now, we are well placed, therefore, to advise and support enterprises not to use their own infrastructure, but use shared public infrastructure that we provide as a provider. So we see growth in enterprise being very clear in South Africa still today. We also think that the other opportunities around fiber to the home. South Africa today has about just 1 million fixed lines. A lot of it is DSL. So the fiber to the home is one of the key investment areas we're focusing on. So that begins to shift the makeup of our business. So fixed services, both for enterprise and the home, is the key areas of focus. And I think the underlying demand is there despite the rather weak economic outlook.